The house on Blackthornne Lane, October 1933, rural Pennsylvania. The first frost had settled over the hollow, turning the fields brittle and the trees skeletal. The locals called it Blackthornne Lane, though no one could remember why, only that the name stuck, like a burr in the mind. At the end of the lane stood the old Whitaker house, its windows boarded, its porch sagging like a broken jaw. The paint had long since blistered away, leaving the wood to rot in the damp. Children dared each other to touch the rusted gate, but none ever went further. That was before Daniel Mercer came to town. Daniel was a journalist, chasing a story about the Great Depression's forgotten corners. He'd heard whispers about Blackthornne Lane from a grizzled farmer at the general store, how the Whitakers had vanished overnight in '29, how the house had stood empty ever since, how things moved inside when the wind didn't blow. "Superstition," the farmer had muttered, spitting tobacco into a tin can, "but I ain't the one who's got to sleep there." Daniel, ever the skeptic, rented a room at the boarding house and set out at dusk, his notebook in his pocket and a flashlight in his hand. The gate creaked as he pushed it open, the sound like a dying man's last breath. The house loomed, its shadow stretching unnaturally long across the yard. The front door was unlocked. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of mildew and something else, something sweet and cloying like spoiled fruit. Daniel's flashlight cut through the gloom, revealing a parlor frozen in time. A rocking chair swayed gently, though no one sat in it. A child's doll lay on the floor, its button eyes gleaming in the beam. The wallpaper, peeling in curls, was stained with dark, spreading patches. Daniel's breath fogged in the cold. He told himself it was just the autumn chill. Then he heard it, a whisper, so faint it might have been the wind. But it wasn't. It was a voice, a woman's voice, singing a lullaby from somewhere deep in the house. "Sleep, my darling, sleep." His pulse hammered in his throat. He followed the sound down the hall, past doors that hung ajar, revealing rooms empty but for the dust. The singing grew louder, clearer, until he stood at the threshold of a nursery. The crib was empty, the mattress yellowed with age. But the mobile above it turned slowly, its wooden animals casting jagged shadows on the ceiling. "Sleep, my darling, sleep." Daniel's flashlight flickered. In the sudden darkness he felt a hand, cold, skeletal, brush his shoulder. He spun, but there was nothing there. When the light returned, the crib was no longer empty. A child lay within, its skin grey, its lips blue, its eyes opened. They were black, endless. Daniel stumbled back, his boot catching on a loose floorboard. The house groaned around him, the walls seeming to breathe. The singing stopped. The child sat up, its mouth stretching into a grin too wide for its face. "You're home now," it whispered. The last thing Daniel Mercer saw was the door slamming shut behind him, the lock clicking into place. Outside, the wind howled, but no one heard his screams. By morning, the house was silent again. The gate stood open as if waiting, and in the nursery the mobile turned, and turned, and turned, and turned.